All right, I think I got it. So, thank you, everyone, for coming today. Love is 1979 when a girl and three of her roommates moved in next door to our apartment that I shared with my roommates in college. And I wrote them and I said, you know, the girls next door moved in. They're a little stuck up. They're not too much fun. The girls next door, I don't know about them. I want to get the date right because, I don't want to blow this part. 33 years later, that girl next door is my wife, my partner, and the best thing that ever happened to me. $10,256 days ago, we gave birth. Well, okay, my wife gave birth. But I was in there to a beautiful daughter named Sarah. Love is precious. Love is, John, you get a new family. The McGarveys and the Knapps. You are so lucky. And John, you and I share something in common. This is Linda's mom, Carol, the lovely Carol. I got one question for Carol. Who is your favorite son-in-law?
John McGarvey.
John, just like I am Carol's favorite son-in-law and only son-in-law, you are my favorite son-in-law. You are Linda's favorite son-in-law. Love is your new family, even if you don't want them sometimes. Love is special occasions, and I cannot tell you, hats off to John and Sarah, and I know Allison helped with the planning and everything, but hats off to this facility. This is tremendous. Love is special occasions. And it can be found in special occasions in a wedding night 30-some years ago where you marry the girl of your dreams and you proceed to go and leave this venue where we serve cold cuts in old Milwaukee because, hey, budgets were what budgets were at that time. Love is when you go and you miss that first turn and you wreck that car and your wife hits the dashboard and you destroy your trucks and you have a little mayhem with people that try to be kind strangers that stop by and maybe said something derogatory to me and I didn't take it well. Love is an adventure. Love is when the State Highway Patrol wants to know where is that driver of that vehicle. Love is friends that one of which tried to bribe the State Highway Patrolman. Love is love is the State Highway Patrolman who runs your record and says, but Mr. McGarvey, you left the scene of an accident a few years ago. You just got your license back for leaving the scene of an accident and reckless stop, the exact same thing you did the night before. Love is my brother-in-law, Tim, who that night said to me, pick a cabin, any cabin, and just go to bed. That's love. Love is about partners. And tonight you got your love partner for the rest of your life. And you will encounter a lot of partners. Some will be business. Recently, I've had a string of, it's been tough, business-wise. See, there's this thing, I don't know who invented certified mail, but that son of a bitch should be shot. Because I've been getting a lot of these certified letters, and they want to, this and that. And then my insurance company tells, we're going to send you a certified letter to tell you we're not going to do anything. Love is when you're facing these tragedies or facing these adversities, love is a business partner. Who just gives you the greatest thing he could ever give you. And that was a hug at the end of a very bad day. That is love. Love is friends in good time and in bad. Love is friends. And my gosh, you guys have tremendous friends here. We've had the pleasure of being with your friends. Love is the kindness of strangers at a Northwestern football game when, tornado sirens are going off and you're with all your friends, Sarah and John's friends, and, it's starting to pour down rain, and there's Linda, Amy, and I with all this beer, some food, standing out in the rain. And love is a Northwestern fan that said, come in and stand underneath our shelter. But if they come to take you away, don't rat us out that we're in our van hiding from the cops that are taking everybody for the sirens. Love is a group of Northwestern people who we never met before and accepted us even as our party grew from 3 to 5 to 10 to 15 to 20. Love is the kindness of strangers. And I've met some people that are new to me that have been just tremendously loving to us. And for that, for all, John, your New Jersey friends, amen. Thank you so much. You guys have been fantastic. Love is having a dinner in Chicago where we're coming to a wedding for a friend of ours. And love is sitting at that dinner table and being told that your daughter, who 9 times out of 10 on Sunday would be at your dinner table, is being moved from your hometown to a place called Chicago. And love is the amount of respect that John, probably not once, not 5 times, not 10 times, apologized for taking her and promising that she would always have a flight home. Now, super love would have been, you will always have a flight to Chicago, but hey, we're working that. Love is when you're told that, you don't feel 1 ounce of sorrow because you know your daughter's happiness is right there. And to that is love, because I thought first and foremost, I turned to Linda after they left and said, they're going to get married. This is Sarah's man, and she couldn't have done a better job. That is love. Finally, and then we'll let this thing wrap up. Finally, love is your friends who show tremendous respect to their elders, being Linda and I. Your friends who've never given up trying to teach an old dog new tricks. See, they taught me beer pong, flip cup, keg stands. They've taught me a lot of games. But the last game they taught me was the Ohio State Northwestern game. Thank you, Amy. You know. They taught me at the Northwestern game this lovely drinking game. And to that, I say, I give you, family, friends, and everyone else, I give you the 2005 State of Ohio lacrosse champion who is marrying the Mustang, outstanding rookie baseball player. And we, as you all taught me, say, batter up! Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Father of the bride, John McGarvey, please give him a hand. All right, our first course will be out shortly, so please enjoy your meal.
Growing up with 3 girls in one household, you would likely assume that we've been planning our wedding since we were kids. The truth is that we would be much more likely to find us in the yard, crawling around on all fours, pretending like we're zoo animals. Traded in the mental image of little girls dressed up like adorable princesses, with a few girls likely wearing overalls and flannels. You would never know by looking at Sarah right now, one of the most beautiful brides that I've ever seen, that tonight did not take a lifetime to plan. And although we didn't plan all the small details of this evening many years ago, growing up, we had always known unconditional love. Our parents' love for each other and for us girls set an almost impossible standard for our expectations. When Sarah met John, it was apparent right away how perfect their love for each other is, by how alive they become around each other. I could not be more excited for you two both to start your new life together, and thank you so much for letting me be a part of this day.
For those of you who know Sarah, Elaine, and I know how close our family is. My sisters were my first friends and my best friends. I always get 2 questions when it comes to Sarah and John. The first is always, aren't you so sad that Sarah's in Chicago now? Of course I'm sad and I miss her, but I'm so proud and so excited for you. I can remember staying up after a long night of drinking at my aunt and uncle's Halloween party, listening to Sarah belt out Adele talking about her love life. Now that was sad. There may or may not have been a lot of tears. I've never seen Sarah so happy before in my whole entire life. Sarah and John make love look so easy and effortless. The second question I always get asked by people is, so do you like your fiance? What's he like? I'm like, yes, I literally could not have picked a better person for Sarah. What is there not to like about John? He has quite the sense of humor, to say the least. He loves to bust a move on the dance floor. He's ambitious, loves Mexican food. And above all, he makes Sarah the happiest I've ever seen her. So John and I actually met years ago, and I kept telling Sarah about this guy she had to meet. I was like, you and John would really hit it off. She kind of blew me off. And then we go to Ohio State game, and she had saw John at a bar the night before. And she's like, John, that guy you call white man? I saw him last night. I think he's kind of cute. She's like, should I Facebook him? I was like, yeah, go for it. Later that night, I got a call from her, frantic. She's like, he responded. I was like, good. She's like, well, what do I say? I was like, hi, hello, I don't know. She's like, okay, good plan. Honestly, the rest is history. I'm so proud of you, SARS. I love you both to pieces. Thank you for letting us be part of your special day. And welcome to the family, John. We're so excited to have you.
And here's just a little poem that we found very fitting. For many years, we've shared our lives, one roof we once lived under. Sometimes we laughed, sometimes we cried. The younger years have faded fast. We've gone our separate ways.
But through our time, our friendship lasts, our bond in life remains. As summer brings the happy times, a closer friend I'd never find than the one I call my sister. Cheers to John and Sarah. We love you both, and remember, the best is yet to come.
Thank you very much, Amy and Elaine. One more round of applause for our maids of honor, please. Enjoy the first course. Your main courses will be out shortly.
Hello. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin, I'd like to advise everyone, for the sake of their eyes, to avoid staring directly at the blinding electric blue suit I am currently sporting. On behalf of the groomsmen, I'd like to thank John for dressing us up like loud, oversized blueberries for his special day. Hey, you're easy. Thank you. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Dave. I've known John since we were 13 years old, and we have been closest of friends ever since. I share the prestigious title of co-best man tonight with another close friend of ours, Steve. I like to think that Steve was born into best man status with John because he was geographically convenient. They literally grew up across the street from one another. Steve's brother also married Jennifer, John's lovely sister, so all things considered, Steve was the obvious go-to option. Sounds mean. I, however, earned best man status by being the greatest friend. Thank you. Oh, you're so nice. Thank you so much. Oh, now I can't find my place. I'll just start the sentence over. Steve's brother also married Jennifer, John's lovely sister, so all things considered, Steve was the obvious go-to option. I, however, earned best man status. Oh, I did the whole thing. Shh. Relax. I, however, earned, and for all, yeah, that really screwed me up. All right. I, however, earned best man status by being the greatest friend John has ever known. And for all intents and purposes, for the remainder of the evening, please refer to me as the best man and just call Steve, Steve. It's heartwarming to be able to celebrate with so many people, friends and family that travel locally, as well as those that flew in from out of state. John and Sarah are a beautiful couple, and I know that they're grateful for all your love and support. Thank you. I would also like to say, since John and Sarah are too shy to say it themselves, that if you did take a flight here today, feel free to adjust your gift accordingly. Deduct the cost of your flight from your wedding gift, then take the remaining balance and donate to a charity of your choice. Now, John and I were destined to be close friends, not because we grew up in the same town, loved basketball, or were huge Howard Stern fans, but because we were both mediocre students, and as a result of our average intelligence, we ended up getting placed in many of the same classes. We immediately clicked. He was witty, outgoing, he had a passion for eating cheese and loved telling cheesy jokes. Every single meal he's ever had was the best meal he's ever had, and he's an amazing air guitarist. John was, and still remains, an incredibly easy guy to get along with. He can make friends wherever he goes, and has an uncanny ability to empathize and relate with anyone from any background in any situation. The most recent example of this was at John's bachelor party. We walked into a nightclub and saw the former light heavyweight boxing champion and star of the last Rocky movie, Antonio Tarver, sitting at the bar. The group asked to take a picture with him, and then everyone moves on except for John. John stayed there and chatted him up for a little bit. What he said, I have no idea, but they ended up exchanging phone numbers, texting each other throughout the night, and at the end of it, John and Antonio had put together plans to go out to dinner the next time Antonio's out in Chicago. It's instances such as these that made the news that John was leaving New Jersey for one of the flyover states so difficult for me. I had hoped that John would make his way back to the Northeast eventually, but after a few years, it became clear that John had become a Midwest gentleman. He adopted a dress, a twang in his voice, and an unacceptable love for country music. It wasn't until a few years into his sabbatical that John called to tell me he had met the girl of his dreams, Sarah. Now, Sarah, before I continue, let me tell you how absolutely stunning you look this evening. It's easy to see why John fell in love with you. You were smart, kind, funny, and most importantly, you made John happy in a way that I never could. In all sincerity, John is the best friend I've ever had. He's like a brother to me, and he'll be an even better husband and father. He's joined my family on several vacations, and his family has played Adopt the Jewish Kid every Christmas for more than a decade. Knowing that his soul has found its counterpart in Sarah makes me comfortable with the fact that he may never return to my loving arms. In closing, I'd like to give you both some advice that I've learned from my near 1 year of marriage experience, which doesn't make me an expert on the topic, but it does make me more of an expert than either of the two of you. Can everyone please raise your glasses? On this day, I may lose my place again. On this day, you have both taken an oath, a mutual responsibility towards one another to make each other's lives better. And as long as you live every day with that goal in mind, you will both live the lives that everyone here tonight knows you undoubtedly deserve. I couldn't be more honored to have been asked to share this moment with you. I love you both very much. Congratulations to the new Mr. and Mrs. Jonathan Weitz.
Thank you very much, Dave. Round of applause for best man Dave Ostrovsky. Up next to the microphone, keep it going for our best man, Steve Zakarayev.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Steve, I'm John's co-best man, or as I like to call myself, the better man. I've known John my entire life. We grew up across the street from each other. We were inseparable as kids. In fact, I spent more time at John's house than I did my own. And through the years I've known John, I've gained some knowledge about him. Some knowledge, Sarah, that you might find useful through this marriage. So if you allow me, I'd like to bestow some wisdom upon you. Number one, John is a huge sports fan. Mets, Giants, Knicks. You're going to have to take a back seat to the Mets. I'm sorry, it's true. And if you plan on having any babies anytime soon, make sure you don't go into labor on the day of the Super Bowl because you're going to be on your own. Number two, John's worst enemy is sunlight. John can't be exposed to sunlight for longer than 10 minutes without suffering extreme sunburn. Even if his ankle is exposed to the sun, he suffers a burn. I've seen it. 3, John is a huge hypochondriac. Every time I see him, he's complaining about some kind of ailment. If you open up his computer, his homepage is WebMD. But seriously, John, you're like a brother to me. I love you, man. And Sarah, you're very lucky to have him. And Sarah, before I met you, John told me all about you at Dave O's bachelor party in Ocean City. He told me you're the perfect girl. He said no one has made him as happy as you have. He said when you feel pain, he feels pain. It was beautiful. It was touching. And even though he had been drinking for the past 12 hours, I know it came from the heart. So John, Sarah, here's to you. I want to wish you guys many years of love and happiness together. Good luck. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Steve. Round of applause for Steve Zakarayev.